Hello everyone, I'm TG and I'm here to talk to you about this amazing online experience that is Evil Dead the Game. So we got a few updates, Castle Kandar's here, some balance changes, and a lot of demons are crying foul. So I thought what I would do is throw together some demon builds that are a lot of fun. They're not going to be like the most meta of all the builds, but they're super kooky and they're really fun and pretty viable now that I think about it. And this one I'm about to show you today is probably my favorite out of all of them. So the name of the game today is Fear. Fear, Fear, Fear. And the Necromancer, he is the best at causing fear to the survivors. Warlord is a close second with their blood splatter and all that good stuff, but Necromancer has so many things at their disposal that just makes them fear powerhouses. So today I'm going to show you a build that just maximizes the amount of fear on survivors so they're always quaking in their little survivor boots. So as always, what I'm going to do is show you where I spend my points, tell you why I spend them there, show you some examples of it working in game, and crunching a few numbers if we need to. So let's dive right in. So first and foremost, I'm putting 3 points into Rocksteady Elite. That's going to increase the balance bar length of elite units by 35%. Of course, we want our boys to be as chonk as possible because balance bar damage is the name of the game when it comes to survivors these days. Next, just 1 point into Health Raiser Elite. That's going to increase the health of elite units by 5%. I'm only using that so I can get deeper into the tree. Same with this, 1 point in Extra Large Trident Smash. That's a 5% range increase when it comes to your Trident Smash ability. What we really want here is 3 points in Quick Charge Demonic Dash, because that's going to reduce the duration of the charge whenever we use our Demonic Dash. So, you know, that little charge up the circle fills up before you actually unleash your Demonic Dash on the survivors. That's going to reduce that by 30%, which is huge because, like I said earlier, we're all about the fear, and timing your Demonic Dash, sometimes you're just like 1 second off and the hitbox is already kind of wonky, so you're really going to feel the difference whenever it comes to this skill. Moving on, just like the elites, we're putting 3 points into Rocksteady Basic, and that's going to increase the balance bar length of basic units by 35%. Very, very important. We're also going to be using 3 points in Louder Warcry, and that's going to increase the basics Warcry effect radius by 25%. And the reason that I put points into this and not into Trident Smash is even when you're not controlling basic units, they use Warcry quite often. So increasing that range is really, really worth it. Next is the ever important Test of Time. 2 points in this is going to increase the duration of the dagger and the pages whenever you are within the radius. Pretty much any demon build should probably have this. Now you'll notice I didn't put points into getting the increased range on the Flautist. And that may sound like sacrilege, but for this build specifically, pretty much no other Necromancer build, but for this one specifically, I don't find it that useful because we're focusing all on fear, and once you play, you will know what I mean. However, if you're not comfortable with that, absolutely feel free to take 2 points out of that improved Warcry and get deeper down the tree and improve the range of the Flautist. Next, I opted for 3 points into Infernal Revenue, which is going to increase the amount of Infernal energy that you get from Infernal Orbs by 20%. The reason I'm going for this is because our units aren't going to be super strong and we're not going to be super spammy, so we actually are going to have slightly weaker of an economy, especially because since we're going Fear, there's going to be a lot of possessions taking place. That being said, we're moving down below where all the fun stuff always is, opening up the tree with Rocksteady Boss. 1 point is going to increase Evil Ash's balance bar by 15%, but what we really want is 3 points into Scarier Demonic Dash. So this is going to increase the amount that survivors are feared from Demonic Dash to 75 points, which basically means any survivor that you hit with your Demonic Dash, you can go ahead and possess them, because I can guarantee you they are very, very rarely going to be at 0 fear. This is actually super important for the early game because you're not going to have a lot of unit possession power since we're playing the Necromancer. You're going to find possessing survivors is the name of the game when it comes to this build, and it's so much fun to just wipe the entire team. Next on the docket, I'm putting 3 points into Portal Authority Basic, which is going to reduce the amount of Infernal energy required to place your Portal Basics by 25%. So even though we're not going full spam, we do want our Skelly boys to be around, because every time they're around, they're also increasing fear on survivors. And then I'm throwing 3 points into Health Raiser Boss, which is going to increase the maximum health of Evil Ash by 35%. Very important because this boy hits like a truck and we're going to be using him quite often. And then moving on to the final row, 3 points into Health Raiser Basic. That's going to increase the health of all your basic units by 30%. They're the Meteor Army, so of course you want them as chonk as possible. But we're also going to be putting 3 points into Energizing Demon Dash. And this is going to increase the amount of Infernal energy you get whenever you Demon Dash to 125. And that might not seem like a lot, 25 point extra, like man, but we're going to be using our Demon Dash so often, of course, every time it's off cooldown, and it's so useful in this build that having that extra 25 kind of adds up throughout the match. And then we've got the last 3 points in this beautiful line. 1 in Bone Rage is going to increase Skeleton's attack frequency by 10%, very important. And of course, the Pied de Resistance, 1 point into Irreparable Damage. which means survivors cannot heal from any source for 1 second after they are attacked by Evil Ash, and that stacks. Then to finish things off, 1 point into skeletal reinforcements, and that's going to increase the number of skeletons that Evil Ash can summon by 1. Why this is important is because in this build, Evil Ash himself does not generate any fear. So whenever he's summoning skeletons, you'll see that the skeletons cause fear to the survivors. So you want as many as possible, even if they're not strong, if they're just cannon fodder. Them just being there is going to increase significantly the fear that they receive. And then again, for the same reason that I just mentioned, we're putting 3 points into Gates of Hell Basic. That's going to reduce the cooldown period between placing your portal basics by 15%. That's of course really important because we always want to have skeletons surrounding the survivors. And finally, our last 4 points. First 3 in Heavy Damage Basic. That's going to increase the damage dealt by all your basic units by 20%. Like I said, they're the meat of your army, so that's very important. But we're also putting 1 straight point into Heavy Damage Boss. This is going to increase the damage dealt by Evil Ash by 10%. So there it is. It's a little wonky, but it's so much fun. It's actually the most fun I've had playing a demon build since the patch. Survivors just go crazy because their fear is always going to be high. You're going to be possessing them nonstop, and it's just, you know what? Even if you lose, you're just having a good time. And really, at the end of the day, game's about having fun. So very, very quickly, just before we go, let's take a look at the Necromancer's skills, go over them in case you don't know them. First and foremost, our active skill, Flute to Kill. That's our Dude Flute Boy on a 75-second cooldown. You can put this guy down anywhere, and he will increase the damage that all your units do by 70% and reduce the damage that they take by 30%. It goes without saying that the Flute Boy, you need to place him very carefully because he is key to Necromancer success. Next is Skelephobia, and that's going to increase survivors' fear by 15% just when there's a skeleton around. So that is key to this build. This is actually what gave me the idea to make this build in the first place. Super awesome. And then, of course, there is motivational music. This is going to increase the effect of the Skeleton Flute Boy by 20%. Keep in mind that's not cumulative, so you're not going to get a 90% increase to damage and a 50% increase to your damage reduction. It's just going to be 20% of 70 and 20% of 30. And lastly, we have what is probably the best level 45 ability of any of the demons, Skeletal Injury. This means that skeletons are going to increase the damage received by nearby survivors by 10% at all times. I don't have much to say about that. It just makes me happy. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is the build. I hope you guys tried it out yourself, and I hope it helps you out just a little bit. I've been having so much fun with it. Let me know down below what you think about the build, what you would change and why, how you play Necromancer, and of course, what you are looking forward to most when it comes to Evil Dead the game. And don't forget, guys, stick around the channel because there's all kinds of builds coming, all kinds of guides, all that good stuff. And as always, my name is TG, and if you like what you saw, you know what to do.